Welcome back. Some quick headlines now for you. The rarest and most coveted baseball card ever, selling for a pretty penny. This is a 1909 to 1911 Honus Wagner card. Originally sold in cigarette packages. Less than 200 people are reportedly, less than 200 of these are reportedly believed to exist. The vintage card sold at auction this weekend for $2.1 million. And here only like 2 of them might even be close to mint condition. The other ones are like chewed on by a bear. And spring is blooming in D.C. The annual Cherry Blossom Festival going on right now. Thousands of people checking out the buds along the National Mall. Cherry blossoms are expected to be at their peak today and tomorrow. They are beautiful. Allie and Tucker.
Thanks so much, Clayton. April is Autism Awareness Month, but our next guest says we need to move from awareness to action to deal with this growing crisis. She has a son who was diagnosed with autism at 21 months of age.
And she's sharing stories much like her own in the new book, The Thinking Mom's Revolution. Joining us now is our old friend, Alison Mackneil. Alison, thanks a lot for joining us.
Oh, thank you for letting me come.
So there has been a huge spike, or what appears to be, in absolute terms and relative terms, a big spike in diagnoses of autism. What is the reason?
Well, I think it depends on who you talk to. I think that the spike is very real. I see autism everywhere I go.
You don't think that it's just being diagnosed more, you think that it is actually happening more.
You see autism at every school bus stop, every cul-de-sac, every Target toy aisle on Saturday morning. And where are the 1 out of every 50 autistic adults?
Meaning that if it were only being diagnosed more nowadays, this year, then there would be lots of autistic adults, if it's always been 1 in 50, but it has gotten, when your point was that when President Obama took office, 2008, it was 1 in 200. Now it's 1 in 50, and you say it's time for the federal government to take some action. Like what?
I think that, of course, we need a tremendous number of resources, but I think really we need to look at why this is happening. I think the unvaccinated versus vaccinated study is very important, and I do think that it's ethical to do that. We also have 1,322 cases of brain injury that have been compensated out of the vaccine injury court. We can study those cases. They have the medical records. We need to look for commonalities among those children.
Now, you often hear people say that the connection between vaccines and autism has been tested in these studies and proven not to exist. How do you respond to that?
I'm not buying it. I think that if you look at the track record of the companies that are behind this vaccine research, their track record is not good. They said Vioxx was safe, and they've paid out over $500 million worth of to people that have been injured. And these are the same people that are doing safety testing on vaccines. They have a vested interest in selling this product.
Just this month, there was a new study out. It was published in the Journal of Pediatrics. I know you're familiar with it. It was from the Institute of Medicine. They found no causal relationship between something that parents have long wondered about, and that is the clustering of vaccines. You go into your pediatrician's office and you get sometimes 4 vaccines at once, 6 vaccines at once. Parents have often thought maybe there's something wrong with that. The Institute of Medicine found that there is no connection, they say, between autism and that. Are you satisfied?
No, I'm not satisfied, and I don't think the general public felt any more reassured by that. I think that was more smoke and mirrors put out, on Good Friday. I don't think that any study that's worth its salt is put out on Good Friday. And I think that, I think it's just more smoke and mirrors.
So one theory is that people are having children older, and that perhaps that plays a role in this spike.
That's possible, but if you're looking at that, I think what we're really looking at is perhaps parents with a higher toxic load. They've been around longer.
And when you say a toxic load, you think that there are things like processed foods, there are vaccines, there are antibiotics, there are things in our environment. There are all sorts of things that could be somehow changing the delicate balance of kids' brains.
I do, and I think it's about the total load. And I think we're wiser when we start including antibiotics in the conversation and not only focusing on vaccines. But I think vaccines are very important.
If you want to read more, check out The Thinking Mom's Revolution. Alison Mackneil, great to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alison. Well, so much for the stimulus accompanying the